Hi again, and welcome to Behind the Songs. Today I'm going to talk about In the Waiting. I wasn't sure if I was going to talk about it, and I'm still not sure if I'm going to talk about it. We'll see what happens. I've been waiting for answers. I've been waiting. Yeah, okay, I'll just do it. What inspired me to write this song is that Jesse and I have been trying to create another human for a long time. We've been trying for 2.5 years to no avail, and it's hard. It's really difficult. We didn't want to talk about it publicly for a long time, and as time has gone on, it's more of a just giant part of our existence right now, and it also dawned on me that by not talking about it, I'm maybe not helping other people that are going through this or that might go through this someday, and that maybe me sharing my struggle might be helpful to some of you. Yeah, it's a really hard thing when you're like, oh, let's start a family, let's have a baby, and then it's just not possible, or it seems. We're still being hopeful, but now that we are, 2.5 years in, we've done so much growing, and we've learned so much, and so we're in a much better place with it now. But most of the album was written during this period of time, the early hard time, which was much, much harder than it is now because we hadn't done as much growing. It was like such a devastating hard thing. Once a month, just like full on breakdown and feeling so sad about it. And I found myself pretty often just wanting to skip ahead to like someday when it works, which granted, like I don't even know if that will happen someday. But I just kept having this thought of like, I want this part to be done. Like I just want to skip ahead. And I had moments like this with my album too. My album was like so meaningful to make, and it was also so important that it scared me, and it was kind of terrifying and really hard to make. And I had moments too of being like, I just want the album to be done. I know I have to record like 7 more songs, but I just want the album to be done. And I found myself wishing this a lot when I was in these very hard moments. And then one day I was sitting at home and I had this like bing where I was like, if I'm in the headspace of wanting to wish away right now and skip ahead to some future day, which may or may not ever even exist, what a sad thing that these are the seconds I definitely have. Like, these are the seconds I'm still alive for, and I'm healthy, and I have loved ones, and the world is beautiful, and I could be out enjoying it. And instead, I started living my life based around some imaginary thing in the future. And I was wishing away the life that I had, which was still beautiful and still wonderful. And so over these 2.5 years, it has been this huge learning. Another lyric from the song is to trust in the timing of my tiny existence. And, we often think we know what's supposed to happen, or we know the best way for things to go. But life is so mysterious and magical, and things go wrong and then they end up being the best thing that ever happened to you. Like, I think about Jakarta for me, and that was the hardest thing that's ever happened to me, and I'm so grateful for it because I wouldn't be who I am without it. I'm trying more and more to trust in the timing, whatever it is, because I look at my life now and every time it didn't work, every time we still weren't making a human, it would be really sad, and then we would both step back and we'd say, like, what are we grateful for? What have we been able to do that we would have not been able to do had this come to us yet? And I would think back and I'd be like, wow, we had that dinner with our parents, and I wrote this song, and we played this show, and like all these life experiences that I wouldn't have had had things worked out differently. And so while it has been incredibly painful and can be hard to sit with sometimes, I do feel like I've grown so much because of it, and I am really grateful that it's happening the way it is. And so that's kind of why the album was named after this too. It was kind of just this whole period in my life. It felt like I was just waiting, that life was just waiting for something, until I realized, like, oh no, you can't live life waiting. You have to live now. Life is in the waiting, as I once said in this very song. So yeah, and to any of you who have gone through this, or are going through this, or might go through this someday, I'm just sending you lots and lots of love, because it's really hard. But we're stronger for it, and someday if it happens, we'll be even more grateful. And if it doesn't happen, we will find other things to do. But we don't have to get there yet. The reason why I felt called to shoot it there is there's this quote that I heard once and resonates with me so much. And it's, nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. And when I think of that, I think of trees, especially giant ancient trees that have been there for thousands of years. And you look at a tree, it's just being patient. Trees aren't fretting about the timeline. They're not like running here and there and comparing themselves to other people and needing to accomplish so much or like be something. They're there and they are just leaning towards the light that they can receive, and they're growing when they can, and they're braving the weather. And there's such a peace and stillness to the way that trees live versus humans that is very inspiring to me. It felt fitting for me to do this song, which is about not wishing the present away in these redwoods that have just sat there in the present for so long. I don't know if I did talking about that justice. I wanted to talk about it right, but talking about things right just makes it too scary. So that was imperfect, and I probably didn't say a lot that I wanted to say. If you guys haven't listened to my song In the Waiting, you can listen wherever you listen to music. Another reminder that if you want this album in vinyl form, I'm making a new batch for you guys, so you can go to my website and order one of these, so it can live in your home with you. Okay, thank you guys so much for listening. I'm sorry if that was a lot. Sending you lots of love. Thank you guys for listening. Bye.